time. So I've been stupidly busy this week. Stupidly busy. Well, for the last couple of weeks I ain't had a day off. I've been working sort of, even one day I left the house at 5:30 in the morning and I got home at 5:45 at night. Fucking 10 hours and that. But been doing intensives in Bury and they've overlapped with another intensive in Ipswich, and you know, I've had a couple of passes, but I've had my first 4 fails of the year. So I had no fails, had a clean 100% pass rate this year. Then I had 3 fails in a row, 1 pass followed by a fail, followed by a pass, followed by a foul. So I've had 5 fails now in 2 weeks. One thing as a driving instructor, you got to try not to take it personally, because when your pupils fail, they you know, you feel for them because they want to pass and then they go and do something stupid and they fail. Now it's not my problem if they get 1 or 2 faults and a serious, you know. I know I've taught them to drive well, just the situation on the day for their test wasn't right, you know. They pulled out in front of someone, or like one girl, she stopped but she was just sticking out the end of the road and the car come and had to go around her a bit, but the marking sheet says did they make them change speed or direction. So yes, the answer is they did. So you fail for it. I've got my standards check coming up, my first one. I've got 14 days to book it and it's got to be done within 3 months of the letter that I received. So that's soon. Hopefully I'll pass that one first time. You get 3 attempts, but that's more stress I don't need. But nice little ride in the countryside today for me day off. Like I said, I ain't had a day off for 2 weeks since BSB, so I've worked right the way through between 7 and 10 hours a day. And it's been tiring. Like, being a driving instructor, it really does mentally take out of you. It leaves you no time for fun. It leaves you no time when you get home to relax, because you've got to think, what am I going to do with my next pupil tomorrow? Especially on the old intensives, because they're a ticking time bomb, you know. You can't ever guarantee a pass. So you just, you know, from the first second they get in your car, you've got a week, set amount of hours, say 25 or 30 hours to get them ready, and they might have never driven a car before. So it's a lot of hard work on the day one, because you want to get them sort of pulling away, stopping. You want to massively improve their clutch control from having none to having something decent. You want to get them out of the beginner area. You ideally, you don't always want to get them on a dual carriageway, it just depends. It depends how quick they take to it. Some people are quicker than others. Some people will be up on a dual carriageway pretty soon. And I find people who ride motorbikes or little 125s, they always learn a bit quicker than someone who's never been on the road, because they've got to learn how the roads work, what we do, how we treat it, how we use our controls in each situation. Whereas someone who's been on the road before, nice and filthy in here, they already know how a vehicle works, especially if they've had a geared bike. I mean, a moped helps because you understand how the roads work, but a geared bike, so you know how a clutch works and how to use gears, even us with your hands, not your, well, even us with your feet basically, not your hand. It's the other way round in a car, but I was the same. I had a geared motorbike before I knew how to drive a car, and once I converted it from using my feet to change the gear to using my hands, it was a piece of cake from there. It didn't take me long at all to learn to drive a car. Nowadays the average is something stupid like 35 with an instructor and 20 in your own car. But when pupils have their own cars, you find they do a lot of driving in their cars, you know. Not a lot of pupils don't drive their own cars when they've got them. I never had my own car, I just had a bike. But yeah, the knowledge of the road, what comes from having a scooter or a 125 at 17, that really does help, because you know how the roads work. But the old intensive courses, I don't see the benefit in doing them really. I do them because they're like bread and butter for money, you know what I mean? Like, then you got your hourly pupils every week, but you wouldn't do the hours you do with an intensive. You wouldn't get them hours. Well, you can from. I keep wanting to wave to learners, but they weren't an instructor anyway. But yeah, I just take on the intensives now and again. And since the baby was born and I'm covering all the bills, I'm just taking them. I've got this Sunday off. I don't have next Sunday off or the one after. So I don't even think I have a day off. But because the intensives are only Ipswich based 5 hours and Bury based 5 hours a day, they're not too bad. But I'm hoping to get all my failed pupils, they're coming up to retest, so I'm hoping to get them all passed, and then my overall pass rate will be good. But my first time pass rates took a little bit of a hit this week, or in the last 2 or 3 weeks, because I've had 5 fails and 2 passes in 5 weeks, which does take it out of you mentally. You sort of go to your next pupil after the first one's failed that day, and you go to teach your next pupil and think, right, so what do I teach these so then they don't do the same? But most of the time people fail with 1 or 2 driving faults, maybe 4, maybe 6, you know, and 1 serious or 2 serious, which you've taught them to drive right. Like, as an instructor, you've taught them right. They've just done something stupid on their driving test and failed for it. That's when they get over 10 driver faults that you start to think, I ain't done my job right here, or they just weren't good enough to go to their test. But sometimes you get like a halo effect, that when they start doing certain things good, you start missing the stuff they do bad. So sometimes you've got to take a step back from the good and look for the bad, just to neaten up the driving a bit. Because there's a lot to teach, and there's a lot to keep track of, and there's a lot to watch out for when you're teaching people to drive. It's not like when you pass your test and you just get in your car. Most people say to me, I don't know the next time I'm going to check my blind spot, or I don't know when I'm going to check my mirrors. And I think, well, you should, because what I've just taught you is safe driving. So when you don't check your mirrors and you hit someone because you didn't see they were there, then don't cry that your instructor didn't tell you, you know. A little bit of air from the front. But even sometimes when someone gets a lot of driving faults and they fail for it, you still taught them right. They just didn't fucking pay attention on their tests. With nerves as well, like driving test nerves, some of the best drivers go to shit. I had 1 driving test revoked once because a woman opened the car door and my pupil almost knocked it off, and the examiner had to swerve. She burst out in tears, blah de blah. The rest is history. My car was back at the test centre in 5 minutes. Anyway, I'm driving, tuition and work and being busy. That's all I've got for you. Till next one, whenever that'll be.